Right, Ledgers, welcome to Bitcoin for Ledgers stream. So, just want to thank our partners, Prime XBT, for making this happen. If you like the content shared and you gain value from it, use the link in the description and then code TraderSZ to get up to 7k deposit bonus. So you make the account, go to the settings, type in the code, then make the deposit. You can get up to 7k. They're the ones that sponsor the stream, so you guys get it completely for free. Well, just check them out. You have to use it. Just check them out if you find value. It shows support for the stream and tells Prime that you guys want to continue. They trade a range of products: crypto, FX, commodity, stock indices. So yeah, you can check them out. Give them a follow on Twitter at PrimeXBT. Nothing in this video constitutes financial advice. Seek the help of a professional before embarking with your capital. Right, now the necessities are out of the way with. Let's start with Bitcoin. So, as you can see, we've still been in that same exact range. And from the previous reviews, I've also done snippet videos where we spoke about every time this deviates, it's just a play within the range. So if we look at it from this sense, where it deviated. So one was, I spoke about, if you recall, there's two ones. One was the more aggressive type, where it's just a swing failure. So if I mark out the extreme ends, before I go to the macro stuff, I mean, we're just still stuck within this, right? Not much done. More action is in the alts, but still, for those that are scalping within the range, this has been a beauty, really. Deviation, trigger, back down. Where were the stops resting? Here, okay, and I'm set around here's the first target area, if you recall. This was extended, and then towards range lows, and they hit that perfectly. Now, if we look now, the extreme side has been taken where this was the ultimate high there within this, so those stops been taken. The downside hasn't been. It's going to be down here. Okay, that just so happens to line up with the range level of 29,213. What are those range levels? If we recall, go into the weekly, and from there I'll do a quick macro breakdown. I mean, there's not much to really say. I mean, it's just range bound, so if it's range bound, we can't do much about it. This one here. So I've taken this range high, range low, mid range, and that was the up move within that range, and those range levels here. So there's the mid range, and then that's the midpoint of that. That's the midpoint of that. Were used to navigate level to level until we broke out. Same ones are here. See, as you can see, you can't seem to make a weekly close back above here. It wicks above, breaks back down, and if we study the bodies here, you know, it's starting to like hold a bit heavy, but again, the things change very easily within a short-term range. So until I think a clean break and a hold below here is made, even then, where are we looking at really? I mean, I can't really say a trend breakout, but the possibility of beginning of one, I'd say, okay, that's capping the market from this instance. So the smaller range is within this consolidation, but I would say towards here. And then the extreme end, which we'll do in a different color, would be here. Okay, so until this breaks down, and I mentioned this in the last stream, so if you haven't watched it, watch that, because things are the same really. I would suggest this is the range so far, because that's capping it, right? Just like here, deviation, once you go back above, push to range highs. I would assume ping pong till it breaks out. So it's probably been more profitable for those that are just trading it as it is the range, removing all the noise. See the chart, see the market see it as it is, which is a range, and then just play. And then maybe mid-range as the first objective, so each time it goes up, but that's not the ideal mid-range, but I was eyeballing it, but yeah, okay, this around here, doesn't really matter. It goes close enough towards it, enough to make some profit, right? So I would say mid-range, towards these highs as first target, secondary targets there, these are the extreme ends, okay? As long as it's the mid-range and range low, and then ping pong back up and forward, that's all I'm really looking at. Now, just quick macro breakdown, which probably for the 100th time I'm repeating, remains the exact same really. Okay, and if I can use this VIX, this region here, this consolidation phase, unless we make a clean breakout above here, we're still range bound. If you recall from the last review I did, so that's the range, and around here, that's the range we're within, and then short term we are within, I'd say here and here, and if we were to break out, then around, well, So that's the range, clean breakout, hold above, then we're going towards that. We're playing within here. That's not trigger, that's identifying where I'm playing within. And then once I've identified where I'm playing within the parameters, then I can look for triggers. The other one is here, and if it gets below here, those are my boundaries. Once it's within those boundaries, then I look for my setups. If my system, whatever you want to call it, gives you the trigger. Because once you've got your boundaries, you know objectives, you know where you're wrong. That's the first start point. So step one, identify my boundaries. Identify. It's called ranges, because that's what it is really. Okay, well that's how I call it. Boundaries, parameters, whatever. 2, look for triggers. LTF trigger, if you want to play the LTF. Okay. Well, I think that should be 3 really. 2 is invalidation and objective. Target. Once I know where I'm wrong, that's the starting point. By default, if it's just by eyeballing, if I have a decent risk reward, by default I've got a trigger, bare minimum trigger. Then from that, I can zoom in and get more precise with whatever technique I use, because these are the basics. Once the basics foundations are there, then I can move on to whatever style I use. That's for me anyway. I mean, everybody's got their own style, but I think this would be a valid case. Now let's break this down further. So now that I've identified, well, I know where my boundaries are, use this example, then what I can do is, I did a snippet video already, we're zoomed in within 1 day's range. So now I can identify new lower time frame boundaries. So I've got my higher time frame ones already. Well, if you want to call it higher time frame within this picture here, parameters. So within your parameters, you'll have more for day trading, scalping, or waiting for the extreme end. So for current week, we are within 1 day's range, and this is more or less Monday's mid range. So scenario 1 is, well, here I posted a snippet video yesterday. I was doing it in the middle of it, and then it just started moving, but it was enough to give me money. So what was that? Deviation, trigger, invalidation. So once it deviated, I know my boundary short term, which was the mid range. Got my invalidation, trigger, play it down. First target, take out the stops. That's done. Stops move to break even then. Okay, again, it's not much of a move, but if it's range bound, what can I do? Secondary objective would have been here. Stops move to break even then, took me out. I didn't trade this in Asia. I mean, this was in Asia. I'm asleep then. Deviation again. Trigger. Cut in a clean break above. Came down enough to take something off. Now it's happening again. I don't want it to happen too many, but it's still valid until I'm wrong. So I've got 2 wins so far. I can afford the third to be a loser. Trigger. Cut in a clean break above. Where am I targeting? So if I look at intraday, where are the stops resting? So if I look at this, so today we came up. So that's the high of the day so far. I haven't taken out the high of the day. I mean, weekends I don't like it. If it's a weekday, so weekends I usually reduce my risk. Well, for obvious reasons. It's just choppy and just overextends, etc. Usually, if I'm going to trade to range, I use wider stops and smaller size on the weekends in case of one more stop run here. But if it makes a clean break above here and holds, technically I've got a trigger if I'm following it systematically. Where the stop's going to be resting, intraday low, target 1, previous day's low, target 2. And then Monday's range, just go for scalping targets. And then if it then broke below that, then the extreme end of the range would be towards here. Now, I can treat this as a separate trade. So previously, if Monday low is capping it, I can either compound or treat it as a separate trade. So if it came below here and held the breakdown, unlike before, which was the deviations, then that's a separate trade. I cut and reclaim back above the Monday's low, and I'll target towards here, and I'm done. It's as simple as that for level to level trading. Now for the upside, well, we could fill this part in. We could go for a run and take out these stops here, okay? Because it's still range bound, and this would, just like this would be short-term trades, because then we would go to our boundaries again, the support ones. This would be just to the top part, but keeping in mind, it's going to be short-term until we break out. We're not breaking out. We're breaking out within short-term range, but breakout within a range short-term does not mean it's a trend. It's just a move back up. So, breakout and hold above this time, then that would be target 1, target 2. Once target 1 gets hit, stops move to break even. Or and before that, if we do something like this, we break out I don't want to see consolidation. I've been on one of the recent ones. I went over triggers, exactly what a reclaim I define it as, and what I want to see, what acceptance. It's one of the recent ones. So if you look through the videos, you'll see it. Makes you do the work, not being lazy. And then I'd go towards here as first objective, as that's the Monday's high. If it starts to reject, I'll take some profits off, but I would then, if it's going to do that, then most likely it should do this. So if they're going to loot the market, it's going to be from here, in my opinion. Otherwise, if they do that, I don't see these highs holding, even though they have taken the stops here, probability wise there, and it's systematic. If it does this, reclaiming the holes, we're above this range. We're now short term back within, these are our boundaries now. And now that I've identified this boundary, where am I wrong? Back below here, quick cut, you know your risk. That's the key. I'm not going all in. I know how much I'm risking. I'm keeping it small, bit of a wider stop. Because it's a weekday, even if it's a weekday, same rules apply. And there, and then there. And that is it. That is all. Okay, so that's more or less BTC. There's not much to really add to Bitcoin because it's just so tight. Okay, and I will waffle on. Now for the bigger play, what I want to see is the more trending move is we spoke about the May's range. Now so far May's high is capping the market. It can't seem to make a clean break below it just yet. Okay, so all I'm doing within those same boundaries, zooming out, pretend it's a 5-minute chart, forget the ticker, forget the time frame. If this confirms the deviation, which is not really, I thought, okay, maybe we get a whole close below there, that would have increased the odds. But it's still hanging around here. This could spring upwards. Well, if it spring upwards, we've got a mid-range to pivot for long. Okay, I'm not fussed about catching the low or top. I want to see where the odds are in my favor, and then I'd rather catch a smaller move in the middle of a leg. And yes, I do diddle in the middle because my system works very well diddling in the middle. But that's just my niche in particular. I have moments where I like the extreme ends, but if I was to catch the extreme ends, I wouldn't really put that much risk behind it because I'm not too sure in this context. Me personally, okay, others may do really well. That's fine. When my odds increase, like I've explained previously on the other chart, then I can do bigger size because the low is confirmed. Invalidations confirmed for me. When the invalidations confirmed for me and a few reclaims of certain levels within that range, then I can afford to do bigger size because historically my system has told me the odds are higher. When the odds are higher, my risk increases. When the odds are lower, okay, it may look like a quarter low, but I've probably got a really small size on that. Okay, I'd rather just wait. I'd be very picky in my trade, take 2-3 out of the 6 triggers, but those 2-3 are higher probability. Okay, so about the odds, isn't it? So what you want is your equity curve to do like this. I don't care about this. Is fucking don't want that smooth, stress-free, rinse repeat day in day out, and that could be the only niche you trade. And as long as it keeps working, you don't need nothing else. You're here to make money, right? You're not here to go, oh, I caught 100x move. That's nice. 100x to $100. That's fine. Nothing wrong with that. But can't be bothered. Now, there's a time and place for me to play spot. When that time comes, I'll need 1 or 2 catches and I'm sorted. So, having said that, a clean break of the hole below. Now we can use the Monday's range from that because that's capping the downside for a lower time frame trigger on this. Now, because it's been consolidating for so long, the probability of a breakout increases. When the probability of a breakout increases, then I can afford to say, okay, you know what, instead of short term, due to the fact we've been consolidating for so long, maybe we've got an increased odds of a breakdown. And even that, I'm capping it short term until proven otherwise. Target in violation will be a reclaim back above the May's high. Target 1 and target 2. That's the mid range, and the mid range has been proven to be a pivotal area, as you can see. If it breaks below and holds below the mid range, okay, separate level to level, target, and possibly the extreme end there. And that's all I'm looking for now. And I've discussed the breakout play, which would increase the odds of the breakout for me personally. Is I'm okay with catching this. At the start of the video, I showed my boundaries. We are then, if it breaks above and holds, now let's do one candle. Okay, so the fuck what? Next trade. Then that's we return back into, or we enter new ranges, boundary, etc. And then I'll play towards here. Now on the way there, we'll see what we got to work with. But something like this. This is the basic blueprint. Until we get the price action unfold, I'm just marking out a basic one till I know what I've got to work with. But this is more or less it. Okay. That is all. So I'm leaning towards lower side because of my view on the dollar index, and have shared that. If I look at the dollar index, I mean, we spoke about. I mean, last year I spoke about this being a possible low. That was based on the macro mid range. Okay, and this is also in the last review. And so far, if you remember from last time, it's decent bounce. Now, even if it's short lived, I reckon at least a stop run. I mean, if I look at it, I mean, I don't need to be a genius at TA to know that this is a key region, right? So if I do this, that's a key support level. I mean, if it's short-lived, right? Clean break below and hold below here, then okay, lower down, that becomes a deviation. But for now, macro level, I'm looking for some sort of bounce. Now this bounce could be something like this. Okay, that's fine. Once it broke below, then we continue playing it lower. But until it's done that, I'm led to believe higher to prove otherwise. Okay, so it was down here. Oh, I want the dip to go higher. Well, when you get the dip, now you're saying lower. Okay, that's fine. But it doesn't make sense, does it? So, having said that, I believe until I'm proven otherwise, okay, I'm not risking that. I know when I'm wrong. At least I run towards this region here, take out these highs, and then I'll decide, because that is the range, isn't it? Now, if you this is the range so far. Now, if you recall, I said what would be the confirmation scenario. Do you remember? So from the last review, I spoke about that. I actually did a dollar index review on my Twitter. So if you look at this, that's coming the downside, right? Well, look, is that a deviation? Confirmation? Possibly. Now we are at the end of the week and the market's closed, the traditional markets, but that would suggest that we go higher now. Now, if I was to remove this and look for another level that says, okay, you know what, let's look for a tighter area, let's go for this one, okay? I will treat this, because that's a key support level, that's bounced here, it deviated, once it deviated, it went to range lows. Once it deviated, it went to range lows. Well, why not the same for this side? And this is coming off a macro support level. This was a macro resistance was higher up. It was in the middle. I would assume here, at least target within the range, target, and then maybe if it deviates back down, who knows, but at least towards there, at least playing this range. If it breaks a clean break below here, okay, all bets are off. I'm going to look for, well, I would expect or anticipate downside in the dollar index, but for now I really personally think we come towards here, but I'm okay to be wrong on this. I'm basing it on what I'm seeing currently, and as things change, I change with it. But if it does this and holds below, or if it goes higher and then it breaks, the main thing is once it makes acceptance below here, then I'd say at least towards here and then towards here, then I'll look for downside on the dollar, long on the FX majors against the dollar, and Bitcoin as well. Okay, we cannot exclude Bitcoin from this. If I was to add this, that trend is still intact. I mean, the correlation. Motherfucker, where are you? I'm trying to add something here. Right, it doesn't seem to be working. Oh shit. Hang on. Okay, resume. We're still there. That correlation is still there. Okay. So you know, this bottom, and if you look at it historically, it is still there. So now is this tried to turn with a possible low here, and that would just mean even if it's stuck within SRE test towards here. I think it's when the market trends, the dollar trend, that's when everything else falls in shape. But when the dollar index is in like a range like this, it's not really doing anything really. It's just range bound. It's not trending. Then the other markets do their own thing. So I think it's gonna be interesting now. It's at a critical point, but risk to reward is better for shorts until proven otherwise. And then if it breaks up and this breaks down and the dollar breaks down, then okay, I'm gonna flip long BTC. I've been taking longs within the range as well. So that's that there. Just wanted to highlight that. Moving on now to Ethereum. Now, I'm going to simplify Ethereum down within this range. Okay, so I spoke about this short before, okay, last Friday actually, not yesterday, which was here, if you could recall. It was a simple play, and I highlighted everything in the review. Deviation play, trigger, and violation, dropped target 1. I'm still in this. I'll cut in a clean break above here, which is why, because this is copying the market downside. If it breaks and holds below here, I'll anticipate these lows to be taken. Now, what do we do short term? Let's quickly go over a high time frame analysis of this. If I look, no, I should have got my other chart out, but it doesn't matter because we don't need it. If I look at this, What we've got here is this has been capping the upside. Look at that. Okay, if I want a simple breakdown, something like this. See that there? Broke down and it gave us some downside. It's not the cleanest downside movement, but it's still the downside. If I get this, where would the stops be resting? Now, before I zoom in, I'll be targeting. I mean, this is a range low area. How you want to look at it, okay? And what's been capping the market has been the mid range, which lines in around here. I mean, the range, the way I drew it is fine, but that's more or less capping the downside. So currently, we can say that that's the range, right? So if this breaks and holds, just to simplify it, basic trigger, target 1, the top of that high that caused the low, and target 2 there. Only if you break some breaks and holds below, then I can say trigger towards here. Is that clear? So if I was to remove this, actually, let me draw a tighter range just for the sake of it. Okay, I can say, well, that's a better mid range. That's a better one. Straight. Just towards range lows. That's the cap in the downside. That's our range. We're currently in the top half of that range. Okay, so keeping that in mind, we don't even need much detail now, because we know, hang on. Clean break and reclaim back above here, and if Bitcoin does the same thing, then higher prices, then probably towards here, possibly towards there. I would mark that out or share that, my views of it, whether I'm right or wrong, doesn't matter. Well, it does matter, but I'll share how I'm looking to play for it if it happens, but I don't need to worry about that until it happens. Save some mental real estate. So what I do is, hang on. I'm just gonna flip to this chart, okay, which I had last time. Yeah, this was it. Finally found it. Sorry, my bad. This was it. So what I had here was that range high there, and just short term, that's capping the downside. Okay. So I'll explain the higher time frame. So I've zoomed in. I found now recall boundaries, ranges where I'm wrong. There's two scenarios for this. One, the trend continuation, and this would make sense, wouldn't it? Just forget everything else, just focus on the task at hand now. We're just within here, really, aren't we? Deviation? I mean, if I want to call this a deviation. Didn't know that was the boundary at the time, but now that I look at it, well, yeah, it could be. Well, before it happened, there's two ways of looking at it. One is, okay, ultimate objective from range high, what would be the objective of range low? So until it's broken above range high, we would expect a range low to be met. Now, how does it get there? Does it get there like this? Because we know where we're wrong, invalidation within a boundary, or does he do something like this? After that, I don't care what happens. So see the thought process. Now I know where I'm wrong. So based on invalidation, when this deviated trigger, I know where I was wrong there. So I had a trigger and an objective. Okay, maybe short. Even if it's short term, I know where I'm wrong. I've got good reason to believe that's where I'm wrong. And I've got objective there. I've got objective here, and I've got objective there. After that, I will let the market tell me what it wants to do, then step back in. For all I know, this could do this, reclaim. Well, it's coming off the range low boundary there. Unless I've got some other reason to believe lower, or market gives me, well, I would anticipate ping pong till I'm wrong. So let's just focus on this for now. Two ways of looking at it. One way is the simple breakdown scenario. Okay. There. Just like the video, share it please. If you like the content, share it, use the link in the description, and that will tell Prime you like the content, and we'll do more of these. Especially more teaching wise as well. So we get your analysis in, but you get some learning in as well. I mean, any donkey can mark out 3 lines. But I try my best, even if it doesn't hit everybody. I do put a lot of effort in these, even if I do sound like a bit of a joker at times. It does take effort. And I'm sharing my own strategies as well. I mean, I don't think strategies, I'm adapting with other markets. I mean, that's what I'm doing. Whether you want to look at ranges, I can do without ranges as well. I'm looking at pure price action. It's the ranges for now, just on. So there, deviation, because that's capping the market, right? Trigger, target 1 region, trend line. If it comes here, starts bouncing, I'll take my profits. Okay, that's the region there. And then if it breaks down the holes below, then I've got objectives towards here and then there. The other players, whatever it does here, once it breaks on holes below, then I know I'm wrong and a clean reclaim back above here. Okay, and I'll be targeting target 1, T2, and it's simple as that. That's it. Okay, and more. See, there's no point marking us on big, massive motherfucker of a move when well, look at the market's doing. Okay, if I do want to mark a big motherfucker of a move, then I'm ready for that. And even then, I treat it as if it's level to level. See, sometimes the psychological thing of somebody, oh, that's gonna be move. Fuck your trend move. We're going what the market's telling us, and I'm ready for that move as well. Even if I'm trading a level to level, it makes it seem as if I'm not. Okay, break down, hold below. Okay, we've broken out the range, we've broken out the trend line. Well, I know what I'm wrong. Invalidation, enter a new range, new boundaries. So if it's a one boundary, from there, target, extended target there. Let's go with more conservative targets because they're more likely to get hit compared to the extreme end. Well, range low, range low, range low, deviation, deviation. That's more likely to get hit than that. If it triggers and then reclaims, okay, I know where I'm wrong. I know how much I've risked. A cut. Then maybe that even gives me a long then to flip back up. You understand? And that is all I play. And that's technically from there towards there, from there towards there. Before you know, you play the whole trend. While banking, in and out, no FOMO, no stress. And that's it. Okay, let's move forward now. So that's F done, those are the main ones. I'm going to do a few alts and we'll wrap it up. So, please like the video, share it. So, bigger picture view on a Litecoin. As you can see, we spoke about this before. That this area here has been capping the market. There is no denying that. Hang on a minute. Let me just mark it exact so it's for the stream purposes. Like that. So region like that. Okay. Now look at this. There has been mark capping the upside. Support, support, support. Once it broke below, big sell off. Deviation, bit of resistance there. Sell off. Massive support. Well, stop run. Obviously, I know. Is there some halving, whatever? I don't give a fuck about halving. I'm just trading price action. If halving takes it up and holds above, then that's fine. I'll take the long. But fuck the halving. I'm looking at what the market's telling me right now. I'm just trading price action. Now, if you think it's going to affect it, okay, then step back. There's 5,670 million other alts to trade. Okay? So, I'm going with what I'm seeing in the market right now. Now, those kind of events may cause some volatility or something short term, but then once that's over, we can wait till afterwards, see what the market's saying. Oh, we're ready for the longs as well, if the time comes. But till then, until it reclaims and holds above here, like this, and even if it's short term like this, that still has a decent move. That decent move was still, at least I would anticipate, if it does reclaim back above, at least towards here, that's a decent move. I can catch $20, $30, $40 on Litecoin. Okay? So, having said that, I've also drawn out last year's high, last year's low, mid-range, and the midpoints of that. Now, I caught the short here. If you look at my Twitter, I did speak about this. Okay, I actually caught the first short here. It's all my Twitter feed, down towards mid-range. And then the second short was from there towards there. And then my stops are break even now. So, what are my trigger plans? Imagine if I wasn't in the position. There's two ways of looking at this. One is, rallies up. I want to see a quick deviation. If it deviates and hold below, oopsie daisy. That's my trigger. I think I'll probably target towards here first. T1 and T2 to take out these lows here. And possibly these afterwards. But let's just focus on easy targets first. There's my trigger then. Now if it breaks down from here, well, it has to run up, take out these stops. I'll just wait for a nice trendline breakdown. Maybe look at maybe Bitcoin and ETH for a bit of confluence. But we know our boundary, which is here. We allow a deviation, but that's going to be short-lived. Breakdown, hold below. Trigger. If it makes a clean reclaim back above, I mean, if you're day trading, it makes a clean reclaim back above here, maybe look to cut it, wait for the stop run, deviation, then enter that I just showed. But technically that will be the trigger, and I'll play it towards here. Okay, and if you reclaim back above here, cut it quick. The key thing is cutting it quick. If you can't cut quick and keep holding, that's on you then. You're not a trader then. Fuck you. What can I do? Anyways, don't be complaining to me this, that, oh, how you're wrecked. Okay, well, I'm wrecked. I'm still okay for myself, you know. Even after I've given a logical, rational breakdown as to how I manage my risk, and if you still call people wrecked, that's a reflection on you, really. Indirectly, I mean, because you're a single-digit IQ, you don't realize you're taking the piss out of yourself. Because if you assume people hold the whole position and don't cut and go all in with their net worth, that's technically saying that's what you do. Whereas a real trader would assume he cuts it quick and assume others would do it the same. But because you do that, either you've got some daddy issues, which is fine, no father figure in your life. Probably that, isn't it? Let's just stop it there. It's okay. No father. I understand. Fuck it. Let's carry on. Now, I posted a soul chart. Okay, it's down here. I said, okay, by default, Valentine's weekend things can get a bit tricky on the weekend. What I would like is, if I was to cut it short, if I was to take a short here, I have to cut the clean break back above here. Okay, and I would just target towards June highs, and that would just be a pullback play. Extended targets would be 18.24, which is the mid range, January's mid range. So how will I tackle this? Let's break it down. Again, it comes down to what Bitcoin's doing as well. So if Bitcoin starts reclaiming the motherfucking levels, then we're gonna have to, say, okay, 2s, we're gonna have to pull back, maybe longs. Now the long scenario will be clean reclaim back above here. I want to see what it looks like. However, stop run in towards here, and then maybe something like this, deviation, trigger, cutting clean break on a reclaim, and target towards here. Now this is just a basic blueprint I want to see. Usually I mark out a basic blueprint, and then if it reclaims that level that I marked out, the possible flipping level on, then I wait for that, and then I'll see what they've got to work with. But if it does do something like this, and Bitcoin, I want to see everything else line up and holds, then that's a proper deviation. I would possibly look for long, maybe towards here, and then there. But if it does make a solid hold above the January's high, and shows clear acceptance above it, then most likely, if I was to do it from an pure SR point of view, I would say it goes towards here at least, which is around the 40s. Okay, so how would that look like? Something basic like this. What's capping the upside first? I would look at, which is here. So if it makes a clean break above and hold, and I'm leverage trading, by the way. I don't margin trading. I don't. It doesn't matter. I missed all this. I don't give a fuck. It's called margin trading. Don't care what I get in at. I want the odds in my favor, then I get in. That little move here is probably more bigger than you huddling your $10 spot bag. Okay, I've got a really tight stop, and that move here I could put size behind, and there's my little alt season. Okay, that's that there. But for now, the question is, do you use one of those tops like this? Because it tends to do that a lot. I'm gonna come back to this. It's not my favorite one. I just posted because somebody asked for it. I prefer Litecoin cleaner. I go for a lot of them can be setting up, but some ones are just more cleaner. This could be a top end, but at the same time, this could do this for a while and then break down. You see what I mean? So to avoid that, one is if it makes a new boundaries. So if it breaks down, and that's exiting one boundary, entering another, and from there. Okay. But I just went over this just in case somebody asked me. OP. So OP, there's two ways of looking at this one. We've got this here. Now, that's our range high. See here, so could do something like this, and it takes time. It's only once you've established lower price action, then that move lower. Which one of the moves we did catch, even though it took its time. So, it's that key SR level here, flipping point. One is if I was aggressive, I could cut a clean break above. Or two, I'm going to wait. I'm patient enough. If it breaks down and holds below, then that's a decent short towards here. Now on the way there, we got that as objective, which is more or less halfway point of that. T, and there's my trigger. Okay, I'm waiting for simple, easy plays. I got all the time in the world to wait. I'm in no rush. However, now if Bitcoin starts breaking up and this motherfucker starts doing his own thing, well, technically, it's a deviation or reclaim. Breaks above and holds, and that's technically a long. I'll play it probably back towards there. Maybe target one there, and target two there. I'm gonna wait and see what Bitcoin does ideally, but that is a possibility there. Okay, so I know whether my trigger is long or short. I'll wait till the market to tell me, and then I step in. Finally, let's do Matic, and we call it then this Matic chart. This one. So the first Matic play, if you recall, I did a simple video on this. The pullback scenario. It swung, failed this. No, there was a video of I didn't. It's just somebody was saying he wants to fade me. Okay, that's fine. I said okay, I'll just end the short just for your sake. I've got a short from here, and I'm just fuck about. But swing failure and keeping level to level towards there. Now the next play for me would be I'm waiting for the breakdown play for this or the new week to start, and maybe the next stream we can update it. But I want to see that mid-range of the channel break. Okay, not just that, it would be a move back within the blue box, which is was capping the market. Okay, which is there. So like I said before in that snippet video I did, okay, it's a decent breakdown. Watch that. It's on my stream, it's on my Twitter feed. break above and hold, from a higher time point of view, that's a big deviation for me, and then that's a long probably towards there at least, and then possibly there. Until that's happened, the question is this a breakout above reclaim or this is deviation? Now, based on, I'm leaning towards at least coming down a bit. But what I'm leaning towards, I don't know the reason of the dollar, etc. What I'm leaning towards or what the market is are two separate things. I may be leaning towards it, but that does not mean I've got a trigger. Okay? And if I do have one based on validation, I'm going to do small size until the market confirms to me. So, what am I looking for? Scenario 1 is the pullback scenario. So, what we've got here, I'd mark this out. We got this consolidation there. And this is level to level. If it does that, and then deviates, then there's my short trigger, keep it level to level, target 1, target 2, and target 3 region towards here to take out these stops. So there's the trigger, T. I'm going to have a target there and target there because it's still within the range. And if I was to clean this up, that would then confirm the range for me, because what's capping the upside, I would argue, towards here and I'd say here, we're starting to form some sort of range here now. Okay, if it's a clean break and hold above, then that's different. Now, the lower play, but the odds are would be increased on this. So if I play level to level, that's fine. Once it does this, or if it does this, another play will be break below and hold below, and that's my trigger. But if it reclaims and holds back above that, I'm going to cut it, targeting there, with the possibility of extended targets there. Now, if it gets there or not, if it comes here bounces, I look to cut it. But this is the probably highest probability. It looks like I'm shorting the low. Yes, I am fucking shorting the bottom. Why? Because I can. Now, look at that. SR breakdown, deviation, back below the blue box, trigger, cut and reclaim back above here, bomber clot. There's your target. Maybe target here, along the way, and then there, and straight down to 0.0003. Okay? Anyways, that's a quick review. I hope you guys found value in this. Like the video, share it, subscribe to the channel, and use the link in the description. And use code TraderSZ to show support. Thank you very much for tuning in. Catch you guys soon.